Francorchamps, the longest circuit on the calendar. It's 7 kilometers and 4 meters long. It will take around 1 minute 40 to set a quali lap in, and it's going to be amazing. And I'm here not alone, I am here with Adam. Hello Adam.
So yeah, glad to be back, guys. Glad to be back, Matthias. It looks like the dream team finally reunited after this long hiatus following COVID and the long summer break. And I'll tell you what, I've been following the action. I have to apologise to you guys that probably were expecting me to come on in previous races. I've been otherwise occupied, unfortunately, but that's gone now. That's all in the past. I'm back raring to go, and I can't wait to get underway and to compete, well, not compete so much, but commentate on the second half of the FEL Championship. And it's been quite the season so far, Matthias.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting season so far, with lots of different winners. Williams finding their way back at the front with winning 2 races in a row, with both drivers winning one, and we got our first ever race ban for a driver, and that's been Coordinator Man with 1 and Usher, and he's being replaced by the much controversy Felix Verlinden, who will be back at his team where he joined halfway through last season and where he won the championship. So he is back in the Williams team. Thomas still leading the championship by quite some margin, followed by Kai, and then you have Monster aka Lucas, but it's still really close, with Monster being followed closed by Monster, and the runner driver surprisingly in 5th and 6th, and it's a dry qualifying session.
Ooh. Well, Monster's been quite the revelation in this Formula Euroleague Championship with Matthias. Of course, Monster early on competing in the Haas earlier in the season, and was doing a great job competing with the likes of Kai Elting and Darfiva, our 2 leading protagonists in the championship, who were great to see them both with us again today to resume their battle. But he moved over to Williams after the first 5 or 6 races of the season, where remarkably the Constructors' Championship last season had not scored a single point. Until, of course, they had the bold driver changes where Monster himself and Compassion, of course, joined the Williams team, your team, Matthias, to finally get some points. And, of course, Monster winning last time out in the Austrian race. So, of course, Williams looking more like themselves, currently 6th in the Constructors' Championship, tied with Haas at the moment. Perhaps a bit too late to claw back their championship deficit to the likes of Mercedes, Racing Point and Ferrari in particular, but back to where they belong. But then, of course, let's move on to the Drivers' Championship situation, Matthias. Of course,
really interesting.
The margin now between Darfiva and Kai Elting, 29 points between them. Of course, Monster a further 31 points back from Kai. And, of course, those two have been up and down all season long. So it does beg the question, on top form, can he find a way to get back to where he was earlier on before we went on the summer break, and really take it to our reigning defending champion Darfiva, who himself now in the Mercedes team, joining from Ferrari earlier in the season, who's going to be looking to be the first man to win back-to-back Formula Euroleague championships.
Yeah, that will go down in history. And I think Monster, his first win, I think he never won a race before, so it's also his first time after being on the podium many times earlier in this season. But the midfield battle for the teams and constructors is for the teams and drivers is really close, with from head camper, he is 5th, to 14th 15th place. It's only 30 points, so that's really close for almost 10 drivers, so everything's still to play there for championship. Probably Maya Thomas will take it back to back, but it's still a couple of races left this season, and those are going to be really interesting.
Yeah, still plenty all to play for at the moment, of course, as this season winds to a close. Of course, guys, you'll know now that we are on the Formula 1 2020 game at long last, as we said after the summer break. I know I'm a few races late to the party on this one, but as we can see, all the new cars and all their shiny new liveries, including the new Mercedes W11 in the black livery, and that is absolutely gorgeous. And of course, Darfifa and Thomas and Maiko, FEL_AMG44, donning the black livery for Mercedes. And that is absolutely gorgeous, as well as promoting a great global cause as well. Nonetheless, of course, another driver I should mention in this pack, of course, in the Ferrari is Plajabal, our reigning defending Formula 2 champion. And of course, for those of you following the news on the Formula EuroLeague page will know that we are merging our Formula 2, F2 and F3 divisions in Formula EuroLeague. So of course, to make sure they remain competitive, they're going to be merging for the time being until a time where we can expand again. So that's going to be quite exciting as well. And of course, if you are watching us live on Twitch, we are twitch.tv as massive Constantina effect going on at the bus stop chicane. A lot of cars queuing up to do their laps. But as I was saying, if you're watching us later on YouTube, you can also watch these races live Sunday evenings on Twitch at 6:45 PM UK time, 7:45 PM European time on the Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/Formula_Euro_League. It's the only place where you can watch Formula EuroLeague racing live. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel Formula_Euro_League. As we see a McLaren facing the wrong way. That's a Dimitri GT Voe. Excuse me if I've butchered the pronunciation on that, but
Dimitri Lichtfoot won. But
I don't think he'll mind if I call him Dimitri. I think
we'll call him like that. That's more.
Yeah.
But here we have the Haas driver, flying finisher, who's been a reserve and outstanding driver so far, and he is in the bus stop chicane with 2 corners to go to be the first one to set a timed lap, and I think it's a good lap time, 1:41.2. Danny right behind him, can't match that time.
Yeah, flying finisher. I've seen a lot of him in Formula 3 and Formula 2 as well at times. Very impressive driver. Has competed in the top division, of course. Got 26 points to his name for the Haas team in this championship. A good replacement for Monster, I think, so far, as Haas in the revised livery for 2020. Obviously having much better fortunes on the game than they are in real life at the moment. He's given a toe to his teammate.
As well in the last race in Britain, we had a surprisingly podium, you have to say, with both Alfa Romeos on the podium, both their first podiums in Tier 1 history. So that has been a big party last week in the Italian squad. But are they going to carry that momentum? Berliner is at the moment in P2, as he is 2.5 tenths of the time of flying finisher. Danny good in P3, Felix in P4 on his first qualifying run since a long time. Here in Formula EuroLeague.
Felix. Great to see Felix back with us and back in the Williams team, and definitely looking forward to seeing how he gets on. Of course, the Formula 1 2020 game are some notable differences with the handling model this year in contrast to last season's game, and you can see that a lot of drivers rising to the top, and perhaps some of the drivers who were at the upper echelons of the order in the previous game not having it so easy this time around. But that's always the fun of adjusting to these new games. The first of its kind adjusting mid-season, but Felix looking solid there in 4th place at the moment. You can see the top 11 that have set time separated by 1.2 seconds.
Karen, good P2, 1-2 Haas.
There you go, so 1-2 for Haas, and of course we had Alfa Romeo finishing 2nd and 3rd in the last race out, Berliner and Matthias Gamer, who recorded his best performance in Formula EuroLeague as well, his first podium for the team. So it's good to see at the moment some of these teams that nearer the bottom in the standings really starting to come to the fore now in this new game. So the only team that have not scored a point so far is the McLaren team. So Killer 7 and Dimitri, a lot of pressure on their shoulders, but Killer 7 followed him a lot in Formula 2, definitely got a lot of pace, a regular point scorer in that league. Much more difficult in Formula 1 in the F1 league, but he's capable, and McLaren do need to get some points on the board. They are desperate.
That's absolutely true. I think Dimitri is the biggest chance of getting points. Killer 7, amazing driver, really fair, but mostly just P11 or 12. But I think Dimitri can step up the McLaren game and get their first points of the season, and he is entering the bus stop chicane for his good timed lap after he set a 2:14 in his first lap, and he crosses the line in only 13th place after being almost a second down on the time of Monster, who is not in a good qualifying lap so far after being a recent race winner.
Well, Monster did his lap on the medium tyres, so whilst that's a decent, well, say decent-ish effort, he definitely did not hook it up right. Monster usually a very quick qualifier. but that's not going to help him in the race, given that he currently will not be able to start on those tyres. So of course, for those of you new to Formula EuroLeague and Formula 1 in general, will know that in dry qualifying sessions, the top 10 will have to start the race on the tyres that they set their fastest laps on, whereas the rest of the field will have a free choice of tyre, and that can be critical in some races. Perhaps not so much in this race, because we expect a fairly straightforward one stop.
Soft medium probably
between the
is
soft
going to
medium
be.
possibly, or medium soft, whichever way you decide to go. And of course, the medium alternate strategy can work if you are in a position to run a bit longer and undercut some other guys on this track. And of course, setting up the car is going to be critical here. There's a lot of variations in terms of high speed straights, like here, as I'm just watching Killer 7 going down the Camel Straight on his flying lap, the scene of probably where the most overtake is going to be done.
Yeah, into the Le Combe chicane.
Yeah, heading into Les Combes now, and of course going through the nice right to left hander, and then a right again, keeping his foot down. It was a purple sector 1 there for Killer 7, so really on it, so that's good to see. Although he locks his brakes very heavy into Brachel's corner, now going into No Name now, coming down the straight, getting hard on the throttle now. He's got to pick his turning point right into Pouon, because it can very much understeer and unsettle the car, but there's so much grip in these modern Formula 1 cars. There's almost child's play in 6th or 7th gear, depending on how much confidence they have. And then coming into turn 13 and 14 into Campos, and now into Stavelot corner as he opens it up now into the
Grandma's house.
In Grandma's house, exactly, the better name for it. Famous in the old layout of the Grand Prix that used to be 14 kilometers long.
14,
now he's coming down the back straight. He's getting a nice toe from Felix in front of him now as he goes through into Blanchimont corner, where Max Verstappen made that famous overtake around the outside of Felipe Nasr. Now coming into the old bus stop chicane now, a quick right to left hand as the Williams gets nicely out of the way for him. Very tidy lap from Killer 7. This one should be pretty quick. It's going to put him
last of the time.
Only 14th. So big surprise there. I thought it looked quick, nice and neat and tidy, but only half a
third fastest.
So McLaren's struggling for outright performance. And I was saying, in terms of performance, Matthias, we were saying already as a Bolin
has 13th fastest.
So Bolin just went 2nd fastest in the Red Bull.
Come on, Steve.
The two Hasses. Setting the purple final sector.
Yeah. Well, here we see Sam 12, the reigning VRL champion, coming on the final corner, setting his Ferrari into the 3rd row on the grid. And Haas has been split by Bolin, as you already mentioned. The Red Bull put his car into P2. Flynn, I think he cancelled his lap. Yes, he did. As Berliner, the man who scored his first FEL podium last week with the Alfa 2-3, which has been an amazing scene for the Italian team. Here to Grandma's house out of Stavelot. It's a purple sector too now. It's almost flat out. Only the bus stop chicane left as a real corner. Blanchimont, you can actually overtake if you have the confidence. And I think you can, especially with those years cars, as they have much more grip. Now up to the bus stop chicane, brake around 125, I think. 100 maybe. Gets the curb nice and easy out of the final corner. Goes on the traction early enough. And he finishes in provisional pole position. Almost. That's an amazing lap. Yeah. Yeah,
but very nice from Berlin. They really let it hang out there. The car was nice and tidy. It didn't fight him too much. And he was able to nail that final sector, as you said. Very quick from him. Already sending shockwaves in Formula EuroLeague since he joined. Of course, an impressive 2nd place finish in Silverstone. And he's hoping to continue on from that. So, yeah, great stuff from him. As Maiko in the Mercedes was watching him now, donning the number 44. Similar to current reigning defending Formula 1 World Champion Lewis Hamilton, doing his next fastest time, currently a quarter of a second off pole position at the moment.
Thomas, so the championship leader, only in 10th place so far in this session.
Well, we know that Darth Fever's never been the best qualifier. He's very openly admitted that qualifying has never been his forte. It's his race pace which has contributed to his success, hence why he is the reigning defending Formula EuroLeague champion. Exactly, and that's the point. A lot of drivers, and so often in his racecraft, he's the sort of driver that doesn't look like he's going to make shockwaves in the race. But then as the race unfolds, he's near the front towards the end and at least fighting for a podium, if not race wins. And coming through the first sector now, looks like he's backed off on this lap now. He was about a second and a half down. But it's so tight at the moment. And as I said, Matthias, setup can be important around this track. Do you prioritise speed in qualifying or in the race? I mean, you're a pretty handy driver yourself on this game from what I've seen. Which direction would you go for setup? Would you be favouring a more downforce setup, or would you be trying to go for the high speed, especially bearing in mind you want to be overtaking or defending down the Kemmel Straight and through Blanchimont in particular?
Yeah, for example, if you start out of the top 10, you probably want to overtake. So I would go for the lower downforce setup to get a good run into the Kemmel Straight and not be overtaken there, as that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, overtaking opportunity on this circuit. So I would if you start out top 10, I would probably prefer the lower downforce setup, and if I would start in the top 10, I would find a balance between it, as you really need it in sector 2 for Stavelo and 13 and 14. But yeah, you need also really the downforce into the whole sector 2 actually. Sector 1 and sector 2 is sector 3 is just almost flat out, so it's still, I would think, last year I run 1.6 wings, that's also quite low, but I think maybe you could go a little bit lower as the cars are more grippier this year, so it's difficult, so lots of variation.
So just a few minutes left to go in the session, guys. Of course, 2 DRS zones on this track, one of which up the Kemmel Straight, which is where we expect most overtakes to happen, of course, and other one at the start line between the bus stop chicane and La Source into turn 1. Just under 3 minutes left to go in this session, guys. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to be on pole position. Do you think Ballina can hold on to his time at the moment, just ahead of flying finisher Bolin and Kerem respectively? Literally nothing but a bus ticket to separate them at the moment. Of course, only a few cars down on track, the calm before the storm. Expect to see a lot of activity now, as I'm just looking through the pit lane now. A lot of guys coming out, but to be honest, Matthias, this is where it gets interesting, because we've got just under 2.5 minutes left to go, and if you're not coming out of the pit lane now, you're really
for 2 minutes.
Literally no time at all, and this is going to be a problem, because guys are going to be coming out to not only get out of the way of the guys already on a flying lap, as I can see Killer 7 on his final flying lap by the looks of it. He's the only one on one at the moment, but not only that, but you've also got to try and look after the tyres enough so you don't use them all before your flying lap. So we're going to see a lot of traffic. There's going to be some guys, long story short, that are not going to make the line for the cutoff point at this rate.
Yeah, that's really what is playing at the moment. As past one of the longest tracks. It is the longest track on the calendar. So an outlet will take around 2 minutes with letting cars by and not wanting to push your tires too much, as Killer 7 invalidates his probably final attempt. Jorn cuts his off as well, so I'm curious to see who's the one next to set a lap time or starting his lap. I think it's the Ferrari Pluizenbol is starting his. Yeah, he cancelled it. So Pluizenbol is the first one to cross the line and start his lap. But
so should we stay with him, or F2
yeah, we'll
champion?
Stay him. Yeah, F2 champion.
So locking his brakes into turn 1 now, getting him early on the power. Pluizenbol, usually a master of qualifying in F2, but this is a whole different ball game now. Riding up the hill into Eau Rouge and Radion, as they quite often say, now coming up to speed now, beating up to 200 miles an hour, opens up the DRS in 8th gear now, and just let the car drift to the left hand side. Literally no scrubbing of the tyres to reduce speed, then hard on the brakes at the 50-meter board, really well committed. The back end slides on a bit right and then left, opening up into another right-hander now. As you're coming into Bruchel's corner, he manages to hold on to it nicely, no tyres on the grass, let the car understeer a little bit. He's locked his brakes, he's really committed into the entry speed. Some drivers prefer that. Now into No Name, it's really ebbs and flows. Is very nicely
so far. And
now all the way down, building up speed 190 miles an hour, throws it into Pouon in 7th gear. The car will hold. You just have to trust it's going to stick with you, as he does very nicely now, and into turns 13 and 14. Oh, he got too far on the right end there, Pleasurable, and it allowed the car to be dragged by the curbs as now he's into Stavelot's corner. Stavelot corner, should say, into Granny's house now, opening up the throttle now as he's got the long climb now up towards the final bus stop chicane now, coming through Blanchimont in 8th gear. It's almost child's play in a Formula 1 car. No lift at all from Pleasurable now. This is coming into the final part of the lap. He hasn't set any PBs so far. He's stuck in 15th place now. He's got a McLaren in front into the bus stop chicane. That shouldn't bother him now, but he opens up the DRS quickly as it comes across the line.
15th only.
142.0, as you can see. Only 14th for Pleasurable. He lost a lot of time locking his brakes into last source, and of course, yes, into turn 13 and 14, definitely lost a few tenths. And at the moment, you could probably say half a second he left on the table there at least, which would have been enough to put him in the top 6 as Monster goes into the top 6 with a 141.5 in the Williams. A huge improvement.
Michael is really flying purple sector too, but even it's really close with the timing, even though it's such a long track. 1 and 13th or 14th covered in 1 second as Michael is entering the bus stop chicane right now with 2 Alphas and 1 Ferrari in front of him, so they'll probably move up the time machines. But ESP3, another 2-3 from Alpha. Yeah, Michael 4th only. Kerem as well, the man who looks good so far this weekend. He goes on the first row.
Oh, well. I mean, we forgot about Bolin, who's gone pole in the Red Bull. Is invalidating his lap, but he's gone fastest. 4 thousandths of a second was the gap between him and Kerem. Excellent job from Kerem. I mean, I've seen Kerem race in F2 for VRL. He's done a great job there. One of the leading drivers there. His pace on this game, the improvement between 2020 and 2019 is remarkable for Kerem. I mean, I remember earlier in the season we were celebrating Kerem getting in the points in Spain.
Yeah.
As if it was like, let's have a party.
Guy 3rd even now, after a big half spin in the final corner, so that might cost him impole. But Felix down in 13th place, and one of the Lorenzo Bandini to
cancelled his lap, so I think that's
qualifying done.
But yeah, Kerem, what a job from him again. Excellent stuff. Kai Elting at the death. Kai is so often the man that leaves it later than most to get his lap in, and 3rd on the grid. He'll be very, very happy considering that his rival Darth FIFA only 11, but critically we should stress Darth FIFA will have a free choice of tyre for the race.
And Felix as well.
And Felix, yeah, and Sem of course in the Ferrari. Sem, our VRL F1 champion, not had the best of starts to his title defence in that league, but in the Ferrari, donning Charles Leclerc's number 16, we'll be hoping for better fortunes in the race. And it's one of those races, Matthias, where qualifying outside the top 10, if you're quick enough, is never the worst thing.
No, especially at this track.
Exactly, and you've got to make sure your strategy is spot on, that
Joran is still on the lap. Huh?
Yeah,
Joran is still on the lap.
That's really strange, because the timer said he wasn't the sessions. Oh, this is weird.
Oh, this is weird. Well, still, we have the lap.
Well, nonetheless, let's carry on. Obviously, the clock has glitched out on us, guys, so there's us thinking we had less time than we actually do. It says time remaining 1 second, but I can assure you that Joran is on the flying lap. Well, he was on a flying lap.
Wide.
Yeah, and he's quit now. So Joran, our winner in Monaco.
Oh, I remember that one.
Not able to repeat his heroics, but nonetheless, glitch or no glitch, that is qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. So Matthias, run through the top
We
order,
have
please.
Bolin in first place and Kerem with his best qualifying ever in Formula League with only 4 thousandths behind Bolin. Kai in P3, Balliner in P4, so another good qualifying from the Alphas with his teammate in P5. Michael P6, Flynn 7th, Donkey 8th, Monster 9th, the reigning winner. Danny P10, Thomas P11, Sam 12th, returning Felix P13. Lorenzo Bandini in 14th place, Levy 15th, Pleasurable 16th, Joran 17th, Steve 18th, Dimitri and Killer 7 in last place. But look at that, top 16 covered in 9.5 tenths. That's long track.
I mean that is a remarkably close field, and I'm sure, of course, the 2 McLarens will be hoping to get involved in that fight as well with Steve Magic Alonso as well. Clearly, we're not able to hook it up in qualifying. It's never easy, of course, very, very strict rules for qualifying. You put 1 foot off the track and it will be invalidated. Nonetheless, some of the names.
It's a dry race.
It's a dry race, which is always a good thing as well, although we always welcome wet weather racing in Formula 1. We always have great fun commentating in the wet. But nonetheless, guys, of course, hope you enjoy qualifying. But looking at the order now, of course, let us know in the chat, guys, who you think is going to win the Belgian Grand Prix for Formula Euro League. Will it be Bollin? Will he be able to repeat his heroics to qualify? Will Berliner repeat and do one better? Matthias Gamer, excellent qualify from him. Kerem as well. As we said, we were celebrating Kerem getting points in Spain. He's almost on the. He could win a race. It could be the day for Kerem. He's been absolutely brilliant. And this is the dynamic. This is the dynamic I wanted to mention as I'm just seeing the tyre graphic for the recommended stops. Although the game is recommending a soft to hard strategy or a 2-stop, so soft medium. I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, I'm expecting a 1-stopper soft to medium for a lot of these guys.
I can't switch to R1.
R1.
Yeah, to select the outside thing. Probably a big glitch, but still, it's a long track and it's not that bad to start where Thomas, Sam, Felix is, because you can overtake on the circuit. It's actually one of the best overtaking tracks. You can turn 1, you can overtake into Camel Straight, into Le Combe Chicane, into the bus stop. So many overtaking opportunities, and if it's not an overtaking opportunity, you'll probably find a gap somewhere. But I wanted to make some kind of joke. When you always say before lights go out, leave kids at grandma's. If you now leave the grids at grandma's, they're out of Stefano.
Well, I'll happily have a little rendition for you before we get underway. But just looking through the field, Matthias, it's, as I was saying before, the 2020 game has never been easy for some of these drivers to adjust to. I mean, we look at some of our familiar protagonists in this season's championship drivers like Dar FIFA, Sem, of course, VRL champion, Felix, another guy who's been a top driver in multiple leagues as well, Levi Volgala, Plojabo as well, Magic Alonso, our inaugural champion, as I'm seeing the predicted pitch stop strategy. Again, I'm expecting the soft medium, but nonetheless, are we seeing some of these drivers having difficulties adjusting to this game, whereas other drivers like perhaps Kerem and Matthias Gamer, of course, are flying absolutely brilliantly? Or perhaps is this just one of those where the field is starting to be a lot more bunched up and we're seeing a lot more variation on this new game in terms of the handling model, and some of the other drivers are starting to catch up? Either way, it's producing a great championship for us. Because there's so many more drivers that could potentially get big results, as we've already seen. As I said, Matthias Gamer, never expect him to be competing for podiums in his previous history, but he got one in the last race, and there's nothing stopping him from doing it again.
But that was been a crazy race.
It was, but you know, you've got to be in there to get the results. But as you've often requested, Matthias, turn up the volume, guys. Take the phone off the hook, leave the kids at grandma's, get yourself comfortable as we're about to get underway for Formula Euro League. It is Sunday night live here on the Twitch channel. There's only one place to watch this action live. Make sure you are comfortable and ready for some Formula 1 action.
Yeah, with the dream team here in the commentary box, but the McLaren's lining up on the last row of the grid, and Kerem, can he get a lightning start and dash to the inside to get the lead? Or is Bolin going to drive away like Lewis Hamilton normally does? We have 3, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and away we go. Who gets a good... Oh, it's glitched. It's glitched. Still, it's a jump start for Killer 7. Oh, and now it's lights out. Bolin still has the lead of the Grand Prix as Kerem gets an absolutely worst start as Kai gets up to P2 already, and one of the Haas's overtook Kerem, sorry, one of the Alphas, and it's the pole sitter clean off the start. They're going side by side further down the field. No incident yet. It's side by side in Radion. Look how far Kerem is already falling back, and Michael as well, and Matthias from 5th already down to 8th place. Here's it going to be an interesting one here down the midfield with already 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars here. Down it's as Thomas gets a little bit of a scrap there. You've already fallen down to P14. Felix got a good start already up to P10.
Yeah,
fighting with one of the Renaults.
This donkey goes for a big bold move up the inside of Kerem, and Kerem was fighting against Berlin up to third place, but now all of a sudden it's now almost 3 wide coming into Puon. Who's going to blink first here? Kerem's got the inside line, but Donkey has the momentum and is able to move into 4th position in the AlphaTauri. Excellent stuff. I was just saying, Matthew's game.
There's one of the Renaults. One of the Renaults. Steve retired in the session with one of the Renaults coming together. The two home racers.
Yeah, Joran's got a penalty for a collision there, so something's going on. But they were a lot further back from what was going on ahead as we see the safety car. But yeah, Matty's Gamer was just saying, a dreadful getaway. He just did not get off the line, and it got absolutely swallowed up down into 9th place with Monster getting away well. The two Hasses together 4th and 5th. Kai Elton getting a good start up into 2nd place. Bolin holding on to the lead.
Are they going to be pit stops yet? Because we could you go to the hard? Sure. No. Oh, Kai goes for the bold strategy. One of the Alphas.
Kai's going to go for
AlphaTauri. Lots of guys are going for it.
It seems a lot of guys at the front. I mean, me personally, I think it's a bit too soon.
To
be going on to the harder tyres. But if these guys think they can go onto hards for best part of 20 laps, because of course the safety car will need
lots
a few
of
laps
pit activity.
I mean, the harder tyres would normally go onto the car after around lap 6.
Yeah, so but still, then you have lots of life in them left.
Yeah, you could probably stretch them out. So maybe this could prove to be a race-winning strategy at this point in the race already. Kai, where is he going to come out in 10th? So he's going to come out in 10th behind his teammate Levi Volgalar, who's on the mediums. So Kai at the moment, Donkey, Balina, Kerem, Maiko, Monster, Danny Hetkamper, Lorenzo Bandini, the two McLarens, Killer 7, and Joran, of course, serving his penalty and pitting as, actually not serving his penalty, I do apologise, he didn't, because under the safety car, but on the harder tyres as well. Important to note that Killer 7, it did look like he glitched and jumped the start. I don't see any notification for that to have happened.
Ooh, maybe just the game.
Exactly, so it seems okay, no penalty for him from what I can see, but the game is adjusting the strategy. It's now telling me that soft mediums is the way to go, as we said earlier in the race. But those harder tyres, as I said earlier, those would normally go on around about lap 5, lap 6, maybe between lap 6 to lap 8. So right now, these guys, if they just keep an eye on those harder tyres, don't try to keep them too warm behind the safety car, they should be okay. By the time the safety car comes in after about lap 4, maybe lap 5 at a push, might be lap 4 actually, they only got to do another 1 or 2 laps on those harder tyres than they probably would have done if they'd have gone in early. So right now, Kai Elting may have blinked first and inspired a lot of guys behind him. That could prove to be the race-winning strategy.
Could be.
At this point in time.
Yes, tire wear could be quite high here, as you have a lot of high-speed corners, but I think you could go to the end 10th to 19th all on the hards. You have Felix, Pluizenbol, Sam Thomas, aka Viva, and Lady Vogelaar all on the mediums, and Dimitri and the top 3 is all on soft tires. But that's been a dreadful start for Kerem after starting P2. He gone down to P4 actually out of turn 1. So not the start he would have wanted to have. But I think he'll fight back in the race, hopefully.
Yeah, certainly a lot of racing to go, of course, if you've just joined us after the first lap. I'm seeing a lot of these predicted pit stop strategies on there. I'll be honest with you, they have about as much accuracy as me playing darts in the dark. It's just not going to happen. So I thought you might like that one being Dutch.
Yeah,
but for you Dutch fans out there, like darts as much as we Brits do, in some regard.
I have one in my room.
Oh, there you go. Everyone's got a dartboard. I think that's the thing that we share, us Brits and you Dutch guys. That that love for darts. I don't know why. I mean, MVG is absolutely killing it. Of course, we enjoyed the years of enjoyed the years of Phil Taylor for so many years. But yeah, nonetheless, yes, of course, who can forget Raymond van Barneveld, 5-time world champion. But of course, we're talking about Formula 1 as Joran has sadly retired. So our hero
Did he
from
crash?
Monaco.
No.
I don't know. I think he's just retired from the session. I mean, he's pulled up on the exit of La Source. I can't see his car at the moment. It won't allow me to see it. So, yeah,
That's
he's
a
out of the race.
shame.
So, not able to repeat the heroics. And I've quite often sung his praises, Joran, in the 2019 game after winning in Monaco. But unfortunately, not able to repeat those today. And unfortunately, took out Steve as well in the process. Didn't see the incident, but going to have to go on the logic that because he got the penalty that probably it was his blame to take on that one. But nonetheless, guys, let us know. Do you think Kai Elting has put himself on the race-winning strategy?
Or
we're seeing quite possibly, or Bolin if he's still in prime position, or perhaps one of the medium runners, Felix, making up so many places on the medium tyres.
He could be in a good strategy.
Exactly. I mean, there is a glitch at the moment on this game where the medium and hard tyre runners are showing no wear on the telemetry. We can tell you that's not the case. They have been on those for a few laps now, one less laps than the soft tyre runners, but nonetheless they would not have really worn those tyres because they are on very, very slow safety car paces. Bert Meinlander on the game, as he often does in real life, just leading the cars round.
But he's just pushing the Mercedes to its hardest, because it's still a fast car, but it's not it's slow compared to an F1 car. Please be safety car in this lap. It takes so long on this circuit.
Yeah, we don't need the safety car around this long. The danger's been cleared.
Yes!
And there we go.
I called it.
Our prayers have been answered.
Thank you.
Our prayers have been answered, but looks like we're about to get underway racing once again. There's so much racing left to go, but as I said, those harder tyre runners may be licking their lips. There's an opportunity that's come and gone now that may have put them onto a race-winning strategy. They won't have to pit again, by the looks of it. Of course, if there's other safety cars, which is
possible,
EuroLeague and other online races, it's always possible. Nonetheless, they always say in IndyCar and NASCAR that caution breeds caution, and in this case, safety car breeds safety car. But Phil now bunched up behind Bolin now as he looks to try and see when is the moment. Really
Donkey, 5 seconds type it, but he goes away. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, this guy has now
he
lets the field
down.
go. The safety car's pulled into the pits now. He already got going. Flying finisher did stay with him, and he's got a good exit. And now Bolin's really going to have to defend hard into turn 1 as we're about to get underway for green flag running. We are back racing here in the Formula EuroLeague Belgium Grand Prix, please excuse me. Belgium, there we go. There's the B in there somewhere.
Felix
but we're
the
back
place
under
to
racing. Yes, but Pleasurable, very opportunistic there in the Ferrari, the M2 champion. It's taking it to Felix now as Bolin leads us up the hill into Eau Rouge and Radion. Now down the Kemmel Straight, almost at 200 miles an hour. He has to keep those guys back. He needs to break the DRS on those softer tyres. Those are not going to last very long.
Thomas not sending it, but in his absolutely beautiful black Mercedes. But Bolin needs to wait after the safety car restart. All the hard runners are still not overtaking the mediums or the softs, but still the medium runners could be on an amazing strategy here by probably being having an advantage in the closing stages of this Grand Prix.
Well, what this will do, Matthias, is it does remove the need for tyre conservation and tyre management. Those softer tyres can probably go on for another couple more laps.
Oh, Berliner, big mistake from him, allows Maiko to pull alongside out of the exit of Pooh, and then already getting a time penalty.
Oh, there we go. And you can see him into turn 13 and 14 there, Matthias, to go left and right, all liners stirred. It's almost like London rush hour traffic there, going through the middle of Spa-Francorchamps. Brilliant stuff there, managing to hold on, but as you said, at the cost of a time penalty with Maiko down in 13th. But these guys are potentially fighting for what could be a podium.
That's absolutely true there, Adam. Monster as well, close to Karam. It's all really close, side by side through Blanchimont. Oh, he made contact, he's been pushed wide by the Alpha. And now it's side by side. Ooh, one of the Williams gets a little touch off the Haas of Karam. Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. Karam doesn't just leaves enough space for Monster as he leaves him behind, so he might get the slipstream, but that's no really big use here as he is in the train. He's now closely followed by Headkamper.
Well, we're seeing the battle for 9th and 10th between the two racing points at the moment. You've got Levi Volgalar and Kai, and Volgalar gets out of the way now as Kai, as I was expecting, was this going to happen? The two racing points swapping positions because they're on different strategies right now. Kai does not have to stop again. Levi Volgalar does have to make his mandatory pit stop, and Kai released in front of his teammate now to get after the guys ahead of him, because currently Kai at the moment is chasing a race win. Volgalar at this point does not want to impede his teammate as he locks his brakes there, but the guys behind him like Donkey, Maiko, Ballina, Monster, Kerem, Heckkamp, Lorenzo Bandini, and even Killer 7. I'll tell you what, that racing point is going to have to try and make itself as wide as a London bus at the moment. I keep on praising them, but to keep those guys behind. So good to see from the racing points there, as Kai, now released, can get after the guys ahead of him. Critically enough, the softer tyre runners, Bolin flying as Pleijsenbol gets the time penalty. Bolin has to brake.
Yellow flagged, someone has crashed, and that's one of the Ferraris of Sam. Out of Stavolo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
And, he's going to be ghosting all the way through, thankfully. Oh, and he's lost it coming out of Grandma's house.
Oh,
and,
no.
Yeah, those tyres were obviously, it's reset to track, which is absolutely fine as long as you're not impeding another driver. But yeah, Sem, the tyres were absolutely red hot and sliding all over the place, and didn't able to cool them down as Flying Finisher sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:45.6. As I was going to say, those soft tyres is critical for Bolin. He has to break the DRS of over a second in order to keep that lead, because it's so powerful here. And at the moment, Flying Finisher just about staying within DRS now as they go up through Eau Rouge and Radion now. The gap between them around 0.8 of a second, so not enough now. He should have DRS down the Camel Straight. As you can see, so does Matthias Gamer behind them as they're calling right up to the back now. So Bolin, all that work he tried to do to stay
Dimitri going on Kai, or Kai going on Dimitri, and they lose out of the position. So Kai is on a mission. He is following his championship rival, and he needs to make this race count to make his best chances for winning this season's championship, to prevent Thomas from winning the double-double. Or the double.
At the moment, it's proving to be quite the strategy call, because right now the gap between him and Bolin is about just under 7 seconds at this point of the race, and I'm expecting Bolin to be pitting in the next few laps. So right now, I mean, what's the average time for a pit stop? 20, 25 seconds?
20,
maybe
20
not,
to
maybe
25.
not.
It's quite a short pit lane.
Now, it is a short pit lane, yeah, you're right. So, but at the moment, a very slow one nonetheless. But right now, Kai in prime position. He's lapping on the leader's pace. So those hard tyres holding on nicely in this early phase. You'll have to watch out for some stages of graining.
Watch how close Felix is to Pleijsenbol.
Yeah, just looking further along. Yeah, watch out for graining, of course. But yeah, Felix all over the back now.
No, he keeps in tie, probably to want to overtake him on the Camel Straights to prevent a re-overtake from Pleijsenbol. Really smart there.
Well, these two know each other very well from the VRL
Dimitri
days.
As
Dimitri goes into the pits. So as Kai said, there you go. So Kai said even faster. So those hard tyres going nicely now. The soft tyres starting to fall away as Bolin now only 0.8 ahead of Flying Finisher. So Flying Finisher's maintained that deficit, but he should be able to close a little bit more now to Bolin in DRS, and this is where Bolin is losing all that time in the wake of the time.
I'm going to interrupt you, Adam, as Felix is going for it on the Camel Straight, as I predicted, to overtake Pleijsenbol. He cuts him off to prevent that he slides down his outside to do a little bit of a switchback, and now he's in front of the Ferrari driver. So that's a good move from Felix. Yeah, showing what he's capable of, and why he's a two-time race winner last season with an amazing Brazilian Grand Prix, just dominating it, and in Bahrain, our first race together, by making it 4-1 into 10-1.
It's great to see Felix back. We've certainly missed him when he's been away. It wasn't under the most, let's say, amicable circumstances, but that's now been buried to one side, forgot it's in the past.
Oh, Kerem spins, Kerem! Oh, that's a big drift. I just got on his on board and he touches the inside curb, and he just absolutely amazing save from Kerem, but still lost the position and some time to Lorenzo Bandini.
Yeah, Kerem performing drifts there worthy of the Tokyo drift name itself, but not really suitable to Formula 1 track. Not really suitable in a Formula 1 track nonetheless, but he's managed to hold it despite losing the place. But as we're saying now, as the leader's going to go into the pits, no, they're going to carry on for a bit longer, so they're going to stretch this stint now to go on to the medium tyres a bit later on as Dimitri gets a time penalty. So we're starting to enter the phase now where the soft tyre runners will start to consider pitting. They've got the extra couple of laps under their belt from the safety car, so there should be a lot more solid on the mediums when they have to pit, as will the medium runners, but I don't think that's going to affect their strategy too much. But right now, the man on the move, Kai Elting, right up to the back of Darth FIFA now as they go up through Eau Rouge and Radion, the two championship contenders at the moment, battling for 6th and 7th. No doubt in my mind they're not going to be finishing there as Kai goes to the outside. Darth FIFA trying to cut him off, but he's only allowed to make the one move there as Kai round the outside, late on the brake, gets the move done. Darth FIFA almost driving into the back of him there. A lot of trust You're making sure he didn't drive into the back of that racing point, but that's a very, very good move from Kai Elting there, and it looks like on the fresher rubber, a harder compounded tyre, Darth Fever just not able to live with his championship rifle at the moment. Bit of a surprise that Kai is that much faster than a medium tyre runner at the moment, but there you go, Kai is flying.
Yeah, Kai is absolutely the fastest man on track at this stage of the race, and his fellow hard runners can't get past his teammate. So he is making his car as wide as a London bus in rush hour. As Pleisel gets another time penalty.
Yeah, it's his second one of the race, so he's going to have to try and keep it clean. And Pleisel in the past, sometimes when he's in difficult competition, does tend to make those mistakes, but the last thing he's want to do is get more time penalties. Now Felix has dropped him like a bad habit now. He's pulled out 1.3 seconds for these last 2 laps.
Oh, leader in the pits.
Yeah, so
Three
as
guys.
predicted, flying finisher Mattis Gamer and Bolin all in the pits now to make their mandatory pit stop, but this will free up, as you can see, Kai Elting, who's completely flown away from the rest of the hard tyre runners now, up into third position with only Pleisel and Felix just ahead of him. And Darth Fever doing a good job to stay with them at the moment. This is where the race could potentially be won and lost for Kai Elting right now, because at the moment, on the harder tyres, which will probably do him pretty well for the remainder of this race, where the medium tyre runners like Bolin, Flying Finisher and Mattis Gamer now 13th, 15th, 16th respectively have a lot of work to do, at least 12 or so 13 seconds behind Kai at the moment.
They've gone all to the mediums, the top 3 I think.
Yes.
Yeah, the top mediums. I think Felix is actually in a quite good, where if he gets out after he pitted into a in the group, I think he gets to the softs and just has the mega advantage of having fresher tires and having a soft compound, as Maiko almost got past Levi Vogler as he made a mistake, but he can't make it stick.
Sorry, Matthias. Yeah,
No
there's
problem.
an interesting battle in the midfield.
He's going for it.
Maiko. As Maiko goes for the inside into turn 13 and 14.
Outside, can he hang on to it? Yes, he has it.
But I'm saying, like, Maiko's managed to free himself from that. You've got a lot of hard tyre runners like Donkey, Maiko, Levi Vogel on the mediums, Ballin and Monster, Headcamper, Lorenzo Bandini, Karen, all ahead of Bolin, Flying Finisher, Mattis Gamer. If they want to catch up to Kai Elting, who's about 13 seconds down the road at this point, they've got to pass all of those guys. And that's going to be a big
yellow flag, Dimitri retired.
As Pleisel with a big slide, and Dimitri's retired. Not sure what happened to him, but
into Stavelo.
Clearly,
probably lost it into the exit of 14.
Car?
Don't give us.
There's a Darth FIFA pits in the Mercedes.
Oh, first one of the mediums to pit.
One of the longest pit stops.
Felix filling the gap to Pleisel.
But the yellow flag did come out. I'm wondering if he anticipated a safety car and it didn't come. May well have done. As Monster, a big issue there. Monster and Headcamper had a bit of a moment. They're going through O'Ridge and Radion, but they've got a lot of speed coming down the Camel Straight now. There's almost 3 of them all over the place trying to get them move through. Can't quite get it done as Ballin moves up into 6th place now. Levi Vogel are starting to fall down the order. Those medium tyres giving him a lot of trouble.
Is Monster going for it into, I don't know, I don't remember what the name is of this corner. That's an absolutely amazing place to get an overtake and absolutely smashing the door on Levi Vogler. Is he going to get overtaken by Danny Headcamper into Pouhon? Yes, so double overtake on Levi Vogler. Actually a triple, as he still gets into Danny, but can't make it stick, and I think his tires are done.
Oh, Maiko's dropped. Maiko's spun off.
Oh no, Maiko!
Oh no, sorry. Actually, sorry, no, it glitched there. I don't know if that happened to you, but Maiko glitched and was down to 13th. Now he's back up in 5th place. So, yeah, that
hard
was a
drop for the Mercedes boss.
Yeah, no, sorry about that, guys. If you're Mercedes fans, it looked like on my screen that Maiko had gone off at turn 13, and it glitched, and it put him all the way back into 5th position where he was running. So, yes, sorry about that little gear, guys. But Maiko running in 5th place at the moment.
Yeah, Felix still leading the way, not pitting yet, as he's stretching his tires to go to the softs. And I think if he wants to make that strategy work, he has to get another 5 laps in those tires. As Bowling gets the fastest lap of the race. at this part of the race, but still, I think Felix will come out or last or somewhere in that battle for 14th place.
Well, at the moment, he's got to try and overcut those guys behind him. What will play in his favour is the fact that Bolin, Flying Finisher, and Mattis Gamer have to overtake as many as 7 cars. I finished 7 or 8 cars in order to get to where Kai is. And Kai is about, at the moment, he's about 10.5 seconds down the road. So not only have they got a lap at least a second quicker than Kai, but they've also got to overtake 8 cars to get to him whilst doing that. I think Kai has nailed this absolutely, as well as Donkey, Maiko, Balin, and Monster, Headcamper. They've absolutely nailed the strategy call on this one, and I think they could be very much picking up some big points today if they can hold on to their track position.
Yeah, that's true what you said there, Adam, and Berliner also getting close to a podium. If he can overtake Maiko, he'll be on a provisional podium. But this is again a masterclass of strategy from Kai by pitting on the safety car, and all the guys who did that are now in the front or provisional at a good point scoring finish, as Matthias left the session and Karam has been overtaken by Bolin.
Yeah, it was a good move from Bolin there. Got Blanchimont, didn't really see it, but got him a Blanchimont, had a lot more speed than Karam, and got that move done. He's enjoying these medium tyres. He's the fastest man on the track at the moment, but
Flynn fastest lap.
Probably realising that he's made the wrong strategy call, and that this
now 2 in 2 corners.
Gotten away from him, but still plenty of racing to go.
Yeah, he has done a good job by overtaking some cars, but I think if he gotten into the pits at that lap 1 safety car, he would have been leading. Yeah.
Sorry, Donkey trying to battle theirs. Maiko moves up into 4th place in the Mercedes, just got ahead of Donkey while setting a purple first sector while he's at it. So great move from Maiko. Clearly enjoying those harder tyres as well. And yeah, as Bolin said, as I said, he's enjoying those medium tyres, Bolin, at the moment. But
3 overtakes in half a lap.
And he's moving up the order very, very nicely. So
Danny,
yeah, he's doing what he needs to do. But I'll tell you, it looks like as Mattis Game has rejoined us, so that's good to see, because he was driving well until then, but he's the AI has dropped him a lot further down the order, unfortunately, so hopefully he can recover that. Nonetheless, Bolin, a man on a mission, trying to get back the lead that he lost through the safety car strategy, if you've just joined us. And Kai Elting, the leader on the harder tyres, at the moment, lapping on the same pace as Felix out in front, and he's right behind Pleitgenbold, but sitting very pretty.
Oh, caramboled it! Out of Grandma's house, he's gone into the one, has no wing damage, but that's a big accident. Ruining his P2 into not the last place yet, but that's a big shame for him, as Maiko sets the fastest lap of the race, fastest lap.
Maiko's certainly got to move on. But he was in the DRS of Donkey, and Donkey's still right behind him, so this battle is not over. Donkey is within DRS range of Maiko. Donkey himself, one of the drivers to take advantage of the early safety car, has put in a brilliant race so far. This could potentially be for 2nd place at this point in time, so all to play for Donkey here. He's in a podium position at the moment by the looks of things. Can he go one better and get back ahead of Maiko into 2nd place?
Yeah, Maiko is still looking good in his provisional P2, as Pleitgenbold and Felix still have to pit, but Kai is probably going to win this if he does not bother it, as he's 5/10 behind Pleitgenbold, who is 9/10 behind Felix, so he's been pushed by Kai to Felix, and Felix is going to feel the heat beneath his car.
I think if my crystal ball is right on this one, Matthias, I can very much see Felix and Pleitgenbold both pitting on this lap to put on soft tyres. It's time to change tyres at this point. They've had these mediums on since the start. They've had a few extra laps, but as you can see, Felix starting to lose time to Pleitgenbold within a second now, and Kai right behind him as well. The last thing they want to do is going to be scrapping with Kai, so I'm expecting them both to dive into the pits on this lap or the next one. Fleischenball goes round with Felix. So it looks like they're going to go for another lap. So my crystal ball a little bit cloudy on this one.
A little bit cloud there.
About as good at telling the future as Yoda is in the Star Wars series. Always cloudy, this boy's future. But nonetheless, they go around for another tour. It will be time to put the soft tyres on soon. So maybe they're staying out longer as well to hope a safety car might come and help them out. You never know. But right now, Kai all over the back. Fleischenball, he looks like he's going to be going for a move now down the Camel Straight. Pulls to the outside. He's got a lot of speed. He's also got slipstream from Felix in front of him to boot, as if he needed any more speed. That racing point surely maxing out on revs, and that's a very nice move into Lake Con there from Kai Elting. Very good overtake on Fleischenball. Fleischenball not finding it, not really in the same race as Kai at the moment. And Kai up into second place now. The gap to Bolin about 9.5 seconds. Who gets a time penalty to rub salt into the wounds. So right now Kai looks like he has this race in the bag, although still plenty of running.
He could
anything we saw from last week. Exactly. Anything can happen, and in Formula 1, to quote the great Murray Walker, it so often does.
Yeah, I hope we don't have a commentator's curse. As it stands, he'll gain 25 points on Thomas, so that will actually just bring it in as the big championship battle, as he's in front with 29 points, I think. So that's 4 points then the gap, so that's everything to play for. As if your bit cloudy prediction of Felix and Fleischenball going into the pits is right, they should be going into the pits now as Felix goes. Fleischenball follows it. Ah, good man, you could go on the fair.
Mystic Meg is back.
Mystic Meg is back, as you tell.
There we go.
You could go on the fair. $1, sorry for you, £1 for a prediction.
My fortune, yeah.
Oh,
well,
I'm a fortune cookie.
I can tell their fortune. Fleischenball's not going to be happy because his penalty is going to bog him down outside the top 10.
Oh, is Felix still to the points?
Well, they both had penalties. I think they still had time penalties to serve in the pit lane, so they've served them now. Felix back in the points now.
Flint going on Lorenzo Bandini for 8th place. Sorry to interrupt you, Adam. They're going side by side on Camel Straight. Has the DRS flying finisher, Flint finisher, as he overtakes Lorenzo Bandini. Good, and it's looking good for AlphaTauri. Lorenzo Bandini makes a small mistake, but he also scored points in the last race, and if he's looking to get it back to back, it would be great with his teammate on the podium. And here's a big battle for P4 going on right now.
Well, Bolin there in 6th position.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Trying to clear the 2 cars in front of him. Balliner and Monster, 2 very much not easy guys to get ahead of, although he's on much fresher tyres and a softer tyre compound to boot. So he's got the equipment to make this move done. Of course, we've got Donkey running a very solid further position, keeping up with Maiko as well, who are further 6 seconds behind the race leader Kai Elting, as Lorenzo Bandini gets a time penalty again. It's not been a best day for him, although he's running solid in 9th position at the moment.
Is Bonin going to send it? Is he going to send it? Please send it, please send it. Yes, 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 he is going to send it. Big double, can't make it work.
But Monster very late on the brakes to defend. Excellent defensive driving there. Great driving from both of them. But Monster on this occasion, as long as he can stay behind Berliner and get that DRS from him, it's able to keep him ahead. But as you can see, Donkey and Maiko are now starting to fall back into Berliner's hands. So Berliner a lot more comfortable and a lot more kinder to his tyres early on than the 2 in front of him, but they're starting to fall back, so we could potentially have a 6 or 7 car battle for 2nd place if we're not too careful.
Yeah, here. Is he going to send it again on Monster? Oh, Monster close to touching the Alfa Romeo. Oh, he lets him through.
I'll tell you what, that was really...
He's going at it again, Monster. He already did it on Levy. Oh, they make contact. That was a bit opportunistic from him.
Bit silly from Monster
his one position, yeah.
I was going to say, Monster very late on the brakes, going into Lake Holm, almost going into the back of Berliner, who didn't see that coming to defend. Lost out there to the Red Bull, then stuck his nose in on the entry to Brochel's corner. Very, very daring there. Lucky to not get his front wing taken off there, but down into 7th place. Monster. Bolin up into 5th position now. The gap to the leader still 9.5 seconds, so he's losing ground now and running out of time. I think probably he may have to accept that perhaps second place may be the best he can get, but he's still 4 seconds off of Maiko, who's now stretching away from Donkey. So those two having a brilliant race between the two of them in second and third place. But Tyson looks like they are looking pretty handy at this point in the race on the alternate strategy.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, as Felix is catching up like lightning to the AlphaTauri of Lorenzo Bandini. 1.2 seconds as he sets the fastest lap, so that's an extra point for the Williams team and Felix. So that will boost their team with 1 extra point. As he's already 6th, he's just so much faster on the soft tires compared to Lorenzo on the hards. So let's see what he can do. DRS wide open. Sam steals his fastest lap. I don't think he's close enough to make a move. No, he is not. But he'll make one anytime soon.
Well, Lorenzo Bandini clearly not carrying a lot of downforce because he had a lot of straight line speed. I mean, that's what 4 attempts in a Formula 1 car looks like, as a gap. Don't seem like much, but clearly Felix not able to close up to the back of that AlphaTauri as much as he would like, especially on those softer tyres. So
he has so much more grip.
Try and make a move, although he might get him around the inside of
Inside of
He has so much more grip and so much more speed.
Amazing.
And there you go.
Really
brilliant
good.
Felix. Lorenzo Bandini clearly not interested in fighting that one. He wants to hold on to the last point, but Pleasurable may have something to say that.
But he has 3 time penalties, Pleasurable. 9 seconds.
He does. I think he might have served some in the pits. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Can't do,
another penalty for Ferrari. The last thing Ferrari needed were penalties, and certainly got a lot
Bowling
of them today
going.
between the two of them.
Come on, Bolin, send it. No, he's too far away. But Bolin really close to the back of Balliner, and if he continues on this pace, he can attack the leading AlphaTauri as Sam spun after getting the fastest lap.
Yeah, Sam had an incident with Kerem. That's caused him to, as Kerem has had a bit of a nightmare race after the safety car. After qualifying in second, he's had a bit of a nightmare of a race, so very unfortunate. He'll have to be live to fight another day. Nonetheless, the battle for the final podium position starting to hot up, though, as we've got Ballina trying to fend off Bolin, who's on much fresher medium tyres now in the Red Bull. In DRS now as Ballina goes towards the right, but he stays to the left. Bolin goes to the right hand side of the Red Bull. It should be a fairly easy move under braking, and there you go into Lake Con. Ballina.
And that's P4 for the Red Bull driver. As well, Danny has been really quiet this race, but he's in P6. So that's really good so far.
Well, I was saying, he was one of the drivers that went onto the harder tyres at the beginning of the race 50 car, and he's made that strategy work to an absolute treat after a qualifying than he would have liked. He's definitely, and Danny's capable of this sort of thing. We see a lot of pace like that in F2, where he, performed brilliantly in a few races in the Renault, and of course, got a pole position once in the Monaco Grand Prix. So
yeah, it's been the Renault's best weekend.
Yeah, so he's definitely got speed in him, and he's drove a brilliant race to get into the top 6. And who knows? This race still has some legs to it. He may find himself a bit further up, but the man on the move now is Bolin, chasing down Maiko and Donkey in second and third, respectively.
Can you check penalties?
Yeah, of course. Can Bolin get back onto the podium? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Of course, looking at penalties, you see Maiko has a penalty to his name. Donkey has a few penalties as well. Bolin has another penalty. So a lot of drivers having penalties. I think Kai doesn't. Interestingly enough, though, Matthias, Ballina and let's see, Danny Heckkamp, neither of them have penalties, nor does Monster. So might be a bit bold here, but Danny Heckkamp can keep his pace up. He may be within touching distance of a podium.
Oh, there will be a second podium of the year.
I stress maybe, because at the moment it's touch and go, but we'll have to wait and see. So just pray for Danny on this one, guys. Get that treading. Pray for Danny.
Come on, Danny. Come on.
But nonetheless, Bolin having to try and hunt down as now Maiko's fallen back a bit, and now Donkey's picked up his pace. He's right behind the Mercedes driver at the moment, the runner-up from last season, really under massive pressure from Donkey, who's drove a stellar race to get himself up into third position. And he's got Bolin behind him, and he knows he's got time penalties to deal with. So this right now, he needs to get this move done as early as he can. Right now, Kai is checked out. As Kai has so often done this season, Kai has checked out, having a very comfortable drive to the finish on a Sunday evening in Spa-Francorchamps, as we so often like.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
he has got a plane to take.
Who is... Yeah, exactly. I'll sing the song.
I'm in a hurry, I got a plane to make.
Who's going to finish on the podium, guys? Let us know in the chat on Twitter. Is it going to be Maiko? Is it going to be Donkey, who's half a second behind Bolin? Danny Headcamper maybe Monster, flying finishers there or thereabouts. It's only 5 seconds separating second to 8th, so it's all to play for with 3 laps to go in this Belgian Grand Prix for Formula Euroleague.
Yeah, and Williams again scoring some decent points in 7th and 8th, sorry 9th, but Flynn is just keeping the pressure on Monster, but yeah, 3 laps remaining with Karam in that last. Sad to see championship leader will have his lead cut down to 4 points only. 4 points. So that's
well, if anyone was worried
for.
Last season, if everyone was worried last season and we were going to get a repeat with Duffy for running away with the championship, well, your prayers have been answered. As much as we love Thomas and want him to do well, we want a championship battle all the way to end this season. You know, it's much to see back-to-back champion.
Flynn gets a penalty.
Yeah, that's not going to help him at all because he was in the hunt for a podium. That's definitely not going to help his cause. But Kai at the moment, it's amazing to see these sorts of driving that he can just pull out these performances. A brilliant strategy call, made it work to his advantage. Now comfortably in front. He's had to make some overtakes and get the job done, but he's done a
Bolin as well, a penalty. Ooh, that's helping Danny. That's helping Danny.
That could be. Yeah, that could be the moment that costs him a podium in this race. Right now, he's losing 3 seconds. That's going to drop him down into 6th place at this point in time, at least. It's all going to come clear as they all come across the line with just 2 laps to go now as Kai well out on his own. You can see the rest of them in the background, but how racy are these guys going to get? 2nd to 8th, separated by 5 seconds.
Oh.
And it's so tight. One mistake could be the difference between coming 2nd and coming 8th as Flynn flying finisher all over the back of Monster, trying to push him along through last source as he's right behind Danny Etkamp. But this is going to get very tasty, guys.
Yeah. Flynn has the medium compound, but he has the time penalty. And Monster as well, so that's not really favoring the Portuguese driver, as is Monster going for it for a possible podium. Yes, he's overtaken Danny Headkamper as Garen retired in the pit lane with 2 laps to go. Is it going to bring out a safety car? Hopefully not.
Probably not, because we're at the very end of the race. Usually the game doesn't allow for that.
Flynn going for it into no name. Now Danny is the inside. Oh, that's cost Danny a couple of places.
Oh, very ballsy there. Great battle. Then Headkamper losing 2 places though in a very short time will not help his cause as he falls a bit down the order, so that might be his podium up in smoke. But we'll have to wait and see. There's still plenty of
one and a half lap to go. And I think Felix is also an outsider for some good points here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to wait and see. Felix has got to get a move on to catch up. He's on the soft tyres. He's about 2 seconds behind Headkamper, but he's absolutely flying at the moment. The Williams driver, Plausible, finally getting past Lorenzo Bandini to get into the top 10 now. As the yellow flag and sector 1 has just been removed now. We come to the final lap with Kai Elting now, just
leading.
under 6 seconds ahead. Very comfortable at the moment. It's been a stellar drive. Absolutely brilliant performance from him from 3rd on the grid to get up into the lead. Made that bold strategy choice to go on the hard tyres. It was a risk, but he made it pay off beautifully.
Is Donkey going to send one, or is Bolin going for it? As he has the fresher tyres. Yeah, it's now or never.
These last few tours around the circuit, literally you're going to have to do it now. Penalties are going to become a factor as it goes very wide on the exit of Radion there. So much speed in that Red Bull, but Donkey also has DRS behind Maiko, so any advantage Bolin would want is completely evaporated by the fact that Donkey has DRS.
Flynn sends one on the outside of Monster into Lecombe, and Monster loses out of position to Flynn, so that's not what he wants.
No,
But
Danny Hetkamp right behind them, as well as Monster goes very late on the brakes. They're looking them into Bichelle's corner as they go into No Name, swinging right to left. It's all happening on the final few laps of this race.
This is
This
good.
is what we love about it. It's just so exciting now.
Yeah.
It's come to the final part of this race. Is anyone going to be
Look how
bold
close
to the bus stop
Bolin
chicane
is.
here?
Look how
Right
close.
behind them. Coming up to Stavelot now, trying to open up the opportunity, trying to see if he can make it through now, trying to get the best exit into Grandma's house.
Come
now,
on.
The long run down all the way through now to see if he can get to the bus stop chicane first. He's going to have a lot of traction, no DRS in this part circuit. It's been taken out now as Kai's about to come through the final part.
He's going to send it. Kai wins. Oh, he's going. Oh, that's yes. Now the insider that favors him. They make contact. Kai 5-second time penalty.
But he should be okay. He's maintained the gap. And
this is going to be chaos.
As Ballina goes onto the podium now, as Monster and Danny Hetkamp and Felix then.
Double podium for Alpha.
It's Ballina with his second successive podium, but as we can
Thomas
see,
just about into the points.
So a point for Darfifa, that will have to do for him, but it's Kai Elting, despite having the 5-second time penalty, comes across the line to win the Formula Euroleague Belgium Grand Prix. What a drive from him, what a race.
And I want to point out, Felix on track 9th and off track P6, so he gains lots of points and he is deservedly the driver of today. But Kai wins and his championship lead from Thomas has been cut down to only 5 points as he gets up the final point on the table, as here Kai celebrates another win, first one on F1 2020, and Balliner getting his second podium in a row, and he is on a run. And Micah is well on the podium, so I think he'll be happy with that on his home race.
Yeah, one Mercedes on the podium, not the one that perhaps Mercedes would have preferred given the championship standings, but nonetheless they will preserve their lead. But it's Kai with the win, and it's game on in the Drivers' Championship.
It really is, and look how close those finishes are. Kai with the race win, Maiko in second place, Belinder getting in touching distance of that second place, Monster in fourth place, Dani in P5, he could be happy with that. Felix on his return, good job. Sixth place, Donkey P7, Bolin P8, Flynn P9, Thomas getting the final point, P10, Yella just outside of the points, Pluizenbol P12, Levy P13, Killer 7 14th, Matthias P15th, and the DNFs are Kerem, Sam, Dimitri, Uran, and Steve. And it's been an amazing race, and I want to ask you, Adam, to invite the podium finishers.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be willing to talk. Sometimes they're not always so forthcoming.
Michael will be
to join us. Yeah. But yeah, let's have a quick look through and try and invite them. But let's give us your thoughts on the race, Matthias. What did you think? Did you enjoy that race?
I really enjoyed it. It has been a good race with this first lap safety car, with Kai getting into the pits early as he could and being the winning strategy, and just some guys surprisingly good as Hetkamper and Felix. I think Felix just drove his heart out in the final laps, pushing, and I think just lots of guys had done a great race. It's sad to see Steve DNFing on lap 1, but yeah, it's that's how it is, and it's a good race.
And of course that makes the championship situation a lot more interesting from Kai Elting's perspective. Now the gap has been reduced massively now to 5 points behind championship leader Darfifa. It's fair to say that the championship battle is right back in the mix, but we are joined by our third place finisher, successive podiums for Berliner. So yeah, brilliant job, Berliner. How was your performance today? Were you happy with that result?
you could really be with that.
Fine form in the Formula Euroleague, and hopefully we'll see more of that from you in the coming races. So congratulations to our third place finisher, Berliner. And next up we have Maiko, FEO_AMG44. Maiko, brilliant job. Once again, second place. Bit of a surprise given how qualifying turned out for you, but are you happy with that result?
Yeah, very happy. Thanks. Normally it's another mix, because normally I'm faster in the race, and now it was.
And of course, once again, another driver that took advantage of those the strategy call under the safety car. Again, was that something that you planned to do, or was that something that you just reacted to the others?
No, Thomas told me not to do it because the puncture was nearly there. In free practice on Thursday, I practiced 21 laps on my hard tire, and then I got a puncture, so it was risky. For sure in the dirty air, then it's a little bit harder for the degradation. And I tried, and I said let's try the risk, and we will see what's going on.
Well, it certainly paid off for you, and of course, more points in the Constructors' Championship for Mercedes. Obviously, your season has been a little bit topsy-turvy, and I think it's fair to say that whilst you're still in the Drivers' Championship, are you still thinking about potentially winning it, or is your focus more about the Constructors at this point?
I think it's almost over. There need to be a miracle to get the P1, so let's help Thomas to the title and Mercedes to the Constructors' title, and then I will be happy.
Well, nonetheless, it's been brilliant performance once again from you, and congratulations to our runner-up, Maiko, FEO_AMG44.
Thanks, mate.
And that brings us to our race winner once again this season, Kai Eltink. Kai.
Yeah.
What a great job once again. How do you feel after that result? Very much needed.
Yeah, it took a while, huh?
Yeah.
After some days, I'm very happy that I'm back on the podium and the win. I had not a really good race last week with an unlucky incident with compression, but I'm really happy that I keep trying to do my best and just sweating a lot and doing my best, and I'm really happy.
Well, it's the summer, you could probably be forgiven for sweating. I'm sweating in the commentary box, and I'm in the
it's
UK,
really
so
hard.
It's roasting. But speaking of which, of course, you've mentioned your return to form after lesser fortunes in last week's race. The safety car, big moment in this race. That strategy call, you of course were the first guy to take the risk, put on the harder tyres. Was that something that you planned to do, or was that, it opened up the opportunity, I was just going to go in and do it? How did you see that incident?
No, my plan was just to stick with the softs till lap 7, because the tire degradation is very high here, so I just thought maybe I can stretch the softs to lap 8, 9 with a safety car, but yeah, why not? When I took the risk, I didn't know how to go it, but yeah, I'm really happy that I managed to bring the car back.
Well, it was an absolute masterstroke of a strategy, hence why it gave you such a comfortable win, despite the time penalty, of course, but nonetheless, you looked like you had it under control. And but looking ahead now with the championship, a big win for you today. That's brought down the gap to Darfifa to 5 points. And of course, you guys and Mercedes competing on all fronts in the Constructors' Championship as well. Where do you see this championship situation now? Because we're coming to the business end. You guys, Racing Point, Mercedes, yourself, Duffy, are very, very close together. Do you think that Racing Point can win both championships this season, or are you more focused on the drivers for now and the constructors will take care of itself?
I'm not really playing to win the constructors, also because my teammate is off for a while and I have to deal with reserves, etc. And I'm just focusing on myself and seeing what I can do.
Well, nonetheless, it was a brilliant job today. Excellent drive once again. And I'll tell you what, I'm so glad. At least you and Darfy for making this championship 1-2.
Yeah.
Remember, a much
5
exciting
points.
season. So best of luck to you both. Hopefully it goes right to the final race of the season. But nonetheless, congratulations once again to our winner, Kai Elting. Excellent drive. Fantastic stuff. Well done.
Yeah, and that's this weekend's race. It's been amazing, a really good race. We have a break next weekend, so we'll have a small summer break, as it's obviously the summer vacation in most parts of the world, and we'll have a good restart after that with the Dutch Grand Prix, the new circuit on the game, and I'm sure that's going to have a really good result. And
I'm certainly looking forward to that one, so it's going to be fun. But of course, guys, as we were saying, don't forget, if you are new to Formula EuroLeague, don't forget, sign up to us on Instagram as well, and Twitter, obviously Instagram Formula EuroLeague. And of course, follow us. If you are watching this race on YouTube, you can watch races live on Twitch, on the Twitch channel every Sunday evening, 6:45 PM UK time, 7:45 PM European time. Just go to twitch.tv/Formula_Euro_League. And of course, if you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notifications button as well. Highlights of every race will be broadcasted in full the following day afterwards for F1 and F2, which is now including F3 as well. So yeah, what a brilliant race, Matthias. Absolutely loved every moment of that, and such a shame now we've got to wait 2 weeks before the next one, but no, that was fun.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see what we can do in the new Sandboat circuit. But I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this stream again, and yeah, have a good night you all, and enjoy your vacation. I have to stop it. Yes.